Hello, beautiful people. How you doing? It felt kind of wrong not to end the day with you, you know? So here we are after dark to end the day. Just about after dark. I know it looks extremely bright out my window, but that's a trickery of lighting. It's getting dark. How you doing? Give that like button a nice little intimate rub, okay? Thank you very much. Appreciate you. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. Good to be here with you. Shout out to everybody who's watching. Rub on that like button. Share the live. Eventful afternoon we had after seeing each other this morning. Somebody's mama. Good to see you. Yep, it's slowly but surely ending the day. I was like, well, it'll be after dark at some point in time. It started off as an after dark, and then I checked the news and I was like, oh, okay. Well, we'll talk about a couple things. Mhm. Yeah. Docket fund, babes. Do it for the docket fund, you know? Great way to support the channel. Hit the like button. Another great way to support the channel. Subscribe. Become a member. You want to be one of my very, very favorites this evening? You can make a personal direct contribution through the Cash Apps or the Venmos. Yes, you could buy some merch. Mhm. Yeah. Well, before we get into Drake, let's circle back on what I said in the earlier live that we had today, where one biscuit head tried to come in and tell me I didn't know what I was talking about. First of all, I prefaced my statements with I don't know anything, so um y- but I'm observant. And so here we are circling back to something that I said this morning when we had a live. And the main topic of the live was if the prosecuting attorney's office has been working with a grand jury, why did local law enforcement arrest David now? Because it would seem, based on the statement made by the prosecuting attorney's office after he was arrested, that they did not know that it was going to happen. And I went through a bunch of different scenarios this morning. And one of the things that I said was, I don't know if you know this, but the LA Police Department and the Sheriff's Department, we got a little bit of an ego, okay? And it wouldn't surprise me in the least if they decided to do a little push play, try and force the DA's hand to charge David. Now, I know what many of you, you know, lurkers are thinking. TMZ is your source, babe, on murder with a celebrity in Los Angeles? Their batting average is historic. Hall of Fame quality can never be matched, okay? Um, so I made it very clear this morning, I'm gonna be paying attention to TMZ. I'm also paying attention to the Los Angeles Times. Makes you feel any better, good lord. But TMZ is where it's at, and sure enough, we got 2 little tidbits from TMZ today. The first one that we got this morning while we were live was that the coroner has ruled, um, Celeste's death a homicide. That's unconfirmed, number 1, and number 2, we still don't know by what means, and we also don't know what evidence LA Police Department has that they believe makes it proof positive that David is the one that killed her and not somebody else. Um, and then this happened after we were live. They're tired of waiting on the DA. They feel like they have the evidence. And it's a push play. They have to charge him on Monday or they have to let him go. So they have firmly punted the case from them to the district attorney's office. Ball is literally in your court. What you gonna do? So we wait. What are you trying to do to me? Okay, if it makes you feel better to get it off, we're here for you. Bow, 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 bow. Hey, I appreciate you. It's good to see you, beautiful. So that's the latest. We're definitely not gonna see. I mean, law enforcement leaks are a dime a dozen, but I would be absolutely 10,000% floored if the probable cause documents were to be public or leaked before Monday. So this is an interesting situation. As I said this morning. I mean, we do have it very well documented. Fateless, shout out to Fateless. Did a wonderful job documenting the entire process and has a firm time count on the fall off listening sesh. So that would be yes, that would be our barometer. Coincidentally. While I was on my back this week. No, not doing that. Pull your head out of the gutter. Felt like I needed to capture this moment in history. So coincidentally, I made this week. And then we get I feel like him and J. Cole are definitely collaborating at this point. I love it too. I think it's great. Project Bot. Hello, beautiful. It's funny because I saw a video earlier today on social media and somebody was like, Drake is going to drop tonight. And I was like, what? What? Wait a minute. I was only out for a week. What the hell? You know, I don't keep him unless it's docket related, which I am just with bated breath. Oh my God, waiting for so many nerdy things to happen on the docket. But anyway, you know, I don't keep that boy in my algo or in my news feeds. I saw somebody like, let me explain to you why I think it is that Drake is going to drop tonight. I was like, what is the date on this video? And it was like 6 hours ago. I was like, what is happening? What is going on? And that's when I typed in Drake, hit enter, and a floodage and booms, the explosions blowing up Canada. I was like, what the hell? No, it was a black person. I don't have him. I'm offended. I am offended. How dare you? me, let me recover. Was that beautiful? We don't acknowledge him here. I saw a black person say, "We're gonna start with that." That's my reality. Anthony Fantano. Ow! Ow! What did I do to deserve that? Why you pop me in the mouth? What'd you say fuck me for? No. Anyway, the point is, that's what brought me to, oh, Drake is spending money? Who's spending money? Who's sponsoring this? Who's sponsoring this? What product placement are we gonna see in the video? Anybody got any guesses? What's the product placement gonna be in the video? Wow, okay, coming in hot. Damn, Lockheed Martin. Sheesh. Oh God. Kiki always with the sobering entry, Tesla. Damn. That's basically like saying Lockheed Martin, just a different version. You don't think so? You don't think he's gonna play in people's faces? I think that boy gonna play in everybody's face. He blowing shit up. What are you talking about? Wow. Y'all came ready. Okay. Let me pull myself together. I might need to go find my glasses. By the way, I still think he's scared. And Iceman won't be on the way. I think he's going to pump fake and jab step and Euro steps and get scared to shoot like Ben Simmons. Well, my damn. Fateless is here. Polymarket or Kalshi. Clean eight. Wow. Oh, this is fantastic. Entry from the sniper. Kleenex, Band-Aids, and ice packs. Oh, damn. The man blowing stuff up got everybody's attention. Don't even get me started. Has it changed? I don't want to look. You know what I did? I did exactly what I said I wasn't going to do. After this 40s live, this is an aside. Amazon does have body bags. Okay, back to this. Has his storefront changed? Kiki. He really let the Iceman release date come and go and didn't say shit. He liked me for real. As of a week ago, it was still on Valentine's merch. Please tell me you know that Drake has a warehouse on Amazon. You don't know this? Babe, we went into it on a live. All I got to say is, do you have a dog? First of all, how's your back? Do you need a body pillow? Do you need a drink? If you feel like robbing a bank, I know this is a lot. Hold on, let me slow down. Let me start from where I ended. Feeling like robbing a bank? You can get a Drake face mask. Problems with your back? You can get a Drake body pillow. Have a dog? All the dog's poop bags, $50 pooper scooper. Those are the highlights, right, chat? Am I forgetting anything else? Niecy's like, I don't give a fuck about that boy's store. I was talking about the body bags. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. One of them is just straight up like, "This is for a corpse." This is so bad. The top result that came up for me when I looked, I searched body bag, not bag for a body bag. The first top result that came up with a 4.6 rating was literally like in the description was like corpse. I was like, God damn. The rest of them were couched as either a Halloween thing or as like a rescue thing. If you are, out in the wilderness and, somebody is completely immobile and you need to be able to secure them and carry them out. But yeah, they're there. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough out there. Wow. Good to see you, beautiful. There's also an online OVO merch sale going on soon through a sample sales warehouse sales company. The ad was like a jump scare. Interesting. I got distracted by like responsibilities, but I wanted to I meant to go and look at what were the reviews and to see if anybody had uploaded any pictures as a part of their review. Yeah. It's both great and terrible that this is all documented right here on my own channel. They have to use a certain grade of, I'm sure, FDA approved because it's human waste. So it has requirements. I mean, you're welcome. Claudia says, so Project Bot is to clean up the SEO that connects him to the botting lawsuits? This is my question as well. Somebody said earlier, we're never going to see Iceman. I think it's distinctly possible that we don't see what was going to be packaged as Iceman. And it's about to be altered and repackaged, rebranded as something else. And I've thought that for a little while because there needs to be some course correction in a major fucking way. Oh God, here I go looking for the thing behind me that always eludes me. It's such a pain in the ass. I mean, the boy's blowing stuff up, so he's clearly in production for something, right? Um, but anyway, my question is like, did it take lawsuits and, these other things popping up about botting for him to, come up with a new concept to replace Iceman? Or is this older than that? Don't know. Don't care that much, but it did cross my mind. I don't think he gets it. I don't know. Could be Department of Health, could be, I'm sure somebody in the chat could look it up, but body bags, I would imagine that body bags that are secured by someplace like a county morgue may be commercially available, but not necessarily just anybody can make them. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there should be requirements for them. Hello, beautiful. That's who I meant. And isn't the FDA involved with that? They're the Food and Drug. It could be an environmental agency or a health agency, like a public health agency as well. But anyway, we're having two separate conversations. Feed two birds with one flower. Drake, Iceman. What I was about to say was, I don't necessarily think Drake gives a shit. He shows no like moral standard, so I have nothing to suggest that he gives a good goddamn about what Ice is doing. But there could be others around the album, from label to product placement, that it is a problem for them. And again, at this point, Drake is trolling people with terrible music, so I don't really think he gives a shit. And he's like, "Okay, fine, we'll change it." Oh, thank you. My brain was like, "There's another agency." Yes, CDC. Shit. Two separate combos connected via Amazon to prevent the spread of disease. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Around him. Not necessarily him, but around him. And it's probably just been like a process of things just kind of stacking up until they hit a tipping point, and he was like, "Okay, fine, fuck it." Starting with, at the baseline, the music is trash. Just a guess. Oh boy. It's after dark, all right. About to be some body bops in them body bags. Wow. That was kind of fire, honestly. I'm not mad. I'm bulletproof. Very good. And I'm just making shit up. I don't have and I don't have anything of any evidence of anything, and that's why I'm just here like, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. He strikes me as this, he strikes me as that. He's a colonizer, so red pill all the way, MAGA adjacent. Like, he's done nothing. He intentionally flirts with the line of white supremacy publicly like it's a fucking joke, because he knows it's gonna stir up controversy and that's gonna bring attention to him, and he's an attention fucking whore. 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 I don't know. Vans is a whore. Drake a hoe for real. Sorry, I don't have more eloquent words than that, but I really don't. Drake a hoe for real. So, this is an opportunity for you to weigh in, because I can't come up with anything. Also, I'm slightly in an altered state. So, working hard to stay in this universe. Um, as an aside, for anybody who's curious, official body bags are a 3-bag system with two 6 millimeter thick bags inside of an 18 millimeter thick outer bag. We've talked about way too much in the past 24 hours. Okay, chat. Question for the chat. Let's see who can come up with the best answer because I got nothing. What? What is Drake blowing up, chat? What filing? You're gonna have to be real fucking specific. My heart. My God. Oh God, I gotta take some deep breaths. You have no idea what you just did to the inside of my body. I can't breathe. What are you talking about? You're this close. You're this close. What are you talking about? You're not making any sense. So you've got about 1 minute to literally start making some sense. It's not complicated here. It costs me money every time I have to look at the docket. There is no deadline today. So I just spent money. What are you talking about? I'm in there. What are you talking about? I'm on the Second Circuit's docket. I'm not even on court listener. There is no 68, number one. Look at me. I remembered to turn my mic back on. Mic check, mic check. Okay. Salad Dallas.
High five. I'm bulletproof.
Thank you. I gotta change my mindset here. Jesus. Pray for me. I hope I can get through this. It's gonna be a challenge. Okay. Sorry. Had to do it. Had to do it. It was necessary. I did. I very much did. We should have at least 100 likes. I'm gonna start there. How we doing, chat? Fantastic. Can we get 130? Bump me up. Share the live. Well, this is interesting. I literally was, I still might, but I was going to make a video this weekend about what to expect coming next in Drake's appeal, and this was not on my radar at all. I had not clocked at all that he files a response to UMG's brief. Did not have that on my bingo card. Don't tell me anything. If you know anything, don't tell me anything. I like to be surprised. It'll be interesting to see if he addresses any of the amicus briefs that have been filed. The last thing to happen on the docket prior to Drake filing this is both of the parties requested oral arguments. So in the next month or so, we would expect to see an indication of the court of whether or not they are going to calendar it for oral arguments or if they are just going to, "Hey, hey, hey, appreciate you." Um, Judge it on the papers, which is everything that gets filed, right? So, um, that's what I had shared with the chat earlier this week that I'm, waiting for with bated breath to see that kind of an indication, but yeah, I did not have this anywhere on my radar that he actually, files a response. This is our first appeal that we're going through together, so here we are. Man, it's just I'm sorry to you know, I'm not, actually. I work hard. Let me go ahead and flip that all the way back. No, I'm not sorry. I work hard on this channel. Get some merch. Support the Docket Fund. Make a contribution to the Docket Fund. Like, subscribe, become a member. So many ways that you can support the work that we do here. We've been following this case since day one. 2 books have come out of this channel about the beef and the battle and this damn lawsuit. And we read an amicus brief recently uh, that was about consent, and it was a heater. I mean, she whooped him from one end to the next. And I did send her a request for an interview to talk about it. So we'll see what happens. But yes, the challenger can get consented to the fight. You can get a mug. You can get a nice little magnet. There's all kinds of goodies in there. Okay, I love it. I love it so much. Table of contents. Defamation claims should have been allowed to proceed. Drake adequately pleaded defamatory statements of fact. UMG repeats the district court's errors in arguing that no reasonable person could understand the defamatory statements as asserting facts. UMG improperly relies on materials outside the amended complaint to rebut Drake's allegations. That's the things taken under judicial notice, the other songs, the other lyrics, the AI Tupac of it all. UMG repeats the district court's errors in defining relevant context. UMG asks this court to ignore its repeated republications of the recording. UMG embraces the district court's de facto categorical rule that rap diss tracks can never be actionable. So he's just tripling down. Next, Drake adequately pleaded that the defamatory statements constitute mixed opinion. That's rabbit holes. Go deep. I can go further, I promise. District court erred by dismissing harassment. You're welcome, beautiful. Thank you for this note. I'm gonna get to that this weekend if I can. Okay, pause. This is not true at all. Period. Point blank. Okay? We're gonna have a little lesson on jurisdiction and precedent. The infamous 730 says Afro-Man's case is going to be referenced by UMG's lawyers, and this thing will be thrown out. Afro-Man's case has no impact on Drake's case, and Drake's case has no impact on Afro-Man's case. Afro-Man's case was filed in a local community court, okay? That's your city, that's your county, that's your town, that's your okay? The ruling in that case impacts the damages that Afroman alleges, or the damages that the officers allege that they suffered. So that case sets precedent where it exists in local court in Ohio. I have that right? Drake's case is a federal case in the Southern District of New York. It is ruled by precedent in the Southern District of New York. Any decisions that come out of Drake's case set precedent for the Southern District of New York, not a local court in Ohio. It has no relationship whatsoever. None. And if that were true, then UMG would have referenced that in their filing to the court. Said, look what happened in this town in Ohio. That's not how it works. So now you have new information and you're better informed to know that that's not what's going to happen. Also, appeals courts have a very specific focus. You do not enter new evidence into an appeals court unless it is a decision made by that court in a separate case in the process of this appeal that is central to this appeal. An appeal is based on what is presented to the court in the original case. There is no new evidence. What the court is doing in this case is not evaluating precedent of other cases around the country. What the appeals court does in this case is determine whether or not the judge adequately correctly and accurately interpreted the law and applied it appropriately to Drake's case. And if she did, then they affirm her decision. And if she didn't, they determine if the didn't would have impacted the outcome of her decision. There could be some things that are walked back on appeal. All of it could be reinstated. None of it could be reinstated. One claim could be reinstated. It's much more complicated and nuanced than all they got to do is. That's why we've been sitting here reading documents for ever. Forever. The more you know. So, thank you for the opportunity to declare that. Okay. So the district court erred by dismissing Drake's harassment claim. The district court erred in dismissing the deceptive business practices claim. Drake has pleaded sufficient facts supporting a covert scheme. And then he's got, I'm sure, a lengthy table of authorities. God, Joe Budden podcast is the thing that I pause on. Jesus Christ. He's got the Joe Budden podcast in here as an authority. You're still here. I'm so happy. Here's what I always say is it's not about you, it's about what you trigger in me. So your comment will kick it off. After that, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Move. I got something to tell the people. Yeah. Okay. I'm so glad that you're still here because it's not about you. As soon as you asked the question, I was like, thank you for asking. Get out the way. I got something to say. uh It's really filed under authorities, under other authorities. Hello, beautiful people. There's so many people here watching. Hit the like button, share the live. We are just about to dive into the details of Drake's response to UMG and the appeal, and we just got a little a little dagger to the gut. Jesus Christ. He lists the Joe Budden podcast as a citation authority. Oh, Jesus. Ugh. Man, tomato. We need at least 200 likes. Help your girl out. It helps the channel and the work that we do here. It's not what I had planned for my evening, but here we go, beloveds. Strap in. In dismissing Aubrey Drake Graham's amended complaint, the district court relied heavily on matters outside the pleadings, weighed the evidence, made adverse factual findings contradicting well-pleaded facts, and improperly drew inferences against Drake. Tellingly, UMG Recordings identifies no case approving such aggressive and unmoored judicial fact-finding at the motion to dismiss stage. Instead, UMG repeats the court's errors, largely glossing over the allegations in the amended complaint and focusing instead on its own version of the facts and evidence from outside the pleadings. UMG's distortion of its cited authorities and its failure to mention, let alone engage with, law cited in Drake's opening brief, docket number 35, reveals that not only are the facts on Drake's side, the law is too. Drake's case against UMG is in its infancy. The scope of the district court's review at this stage is narrow. The court's function is not to weigh the evidence that might be presented at a trial or make findings of fact. Instead, the only facts to be considered are those alleged in the complaint, and the court must accept them, drawing all reasonable inferences in the plaintiff's favor. The district court failed to abide by those bedrock principles. At a minimum, it was required to convert UMG's motion to dismiss into one for summary judgment, but it failed to do that too. Consequently, Drake never had the opportunity to consent the evidence and present what he had uncovered in the early stages of discovery. This court should reverse. The district court dismissed Drake's defamation claim based solely on its determination that the recording, video, and image of Not Like Us contained statements of opinion rather than actionable statements of fact. That decision turned on context, but the court committed multiple errors in considering the relevant context, misapplying judicial notice to draw inferences against Drake, replacing the reasonable listener with a rap aficionado, ignoring the broader social context, failing to recognize UMG's republications to different audiences, and effectively creating a special rule that rap diss tracks are a defamation free zone. UMG doubles down on those errors and rewrites the amended complaint to boot. This court should reverse. Drake stated a claim that UMG defamed him by publishing and promoting the recording, which was intended to convey the specific, unmistakable, and false factual allegation that Drake is a criminal pedophile. The recording calls Drake a certified pedophile, includes lyrics like "Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young," and "Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor," and warns that Drake has got to be registered and placed on neighborhood watch. A reasonable listener could, and countless did, construe the recording as factually asserting that Drake sexually abuses children. Entertainment industry insiders and media experts on Hollywood affairs likewise understood the recording's core pedophilia message and debated its consequences. And the image and the video reinforced those factual assertions by using actual sex offender notification symbols and sex trafficking imagery. The broader social context also supports this view. That the public could and did take the core assertion of pedophilia seriously cannot come as a surprise to UMG. Unlike impromptu statements made at a public hearing or in a live rap battle, UMG's publication of the recording, as well as the image and video, was the product of some deliberation, and thus more likely to signal assertions of fact. Indeed, Drake alleged that UMG had ultimate control to review and approve the recording to eliminate defamation or libel. That process reflects that UMG knew the recording would be subject to close, careful, and repeated listening over time, which is especially true given the various fora in which it was republished, including to a global audience at the Super Bowl. UMG's primary response is to rewrite the amended complaint and the recording. UMG claims the recording was not focused on calling Drake a pedophile, but instead is a series of hyperbolic disses on many subjects. Nonsense. Even the district court recognized that the recording's key lyrics explicitly named Drake and his associates as pedophiles. Quote, "The recording was intended to convey the specific, unmistakable, and false factual allegation that Drake is a criminal pedophile and to suggest vigilante justice as a response." End quote. Nobody tried to gun down Drake because of the recording's remarks about his artistic prowess, brand, or hometown. They did so because it proclaimed that Drake sexually abuses children. Hit the like button. Share the live. Did you hear what they just alleged? Nobody tried to gun down Drake because of the recording's remarks about his artistic prowess, brand, or hometown. They did so because the song proclaimed that Drake sexually abuses children. This is the first time Drake's attorneys have brought up a live rap battle. Yes. They've been blaming the shooting on the song since the very beginning. They've been blaming the break-ins on his property on the song since the very beginning. They allege, and if you don't know, you're gonna think I'm BSing you, and I am not. The chat can attest. They allege that the image published with the song, Drake's house, the icons, is a map, quote, to would-be assailants, end quote. That's because it's Canada, and they have different laws when it comes to reporting on crime and active investigations. Tiffany Shante says, there they go with this. We don't know why his house was shot at. And that's the whole point. Drake gets to orchestrate his own narrative, okay, of what happened and present his own facts to establish the court record, history on the court record, not history as we know it and lived it and witnessed it. You think this matters, it doesn't matter. You know when it matters? When it's argued in court. But it's not a preventative measure to him making the claim. Drake is crafting a story. It is his version of events. And always from the beginning, from the very, very beginning, Drake's lawsuit starts with the shooting. It literally opens with the shooting. Page 1. The shooting has always been on page 1. He has always blamed the song. Always. I can provide evidence of any narrative if I'm the one crafting it. You get the opportunity to present other evidence to try and refute what I present. Lawsuits are about who tells the more compelling story and who has the more compelling evidence to back it up. We've learned one thing. It just left my brain. Come back. I lost it. It'll come back to me later. But this is how Drake has operated in this lawsuit since the beginning of this lawsuit. Is it? Is it? That's called counter evidence. At this stage, no, they don't have to. You don't have to present evidence of damn near anything to file a lawsuit. You have to prove it at trial. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of pre-proving to get to trial. That's summary judgment. But you can craft whatever story you want to in a complaint that aligns with the law, the damages that you're seeking, and the evidence that you think you have to back it up. And the court can only judge what is on the court's record. So it needs to either be entered by the parties, right? Or it needs to be something that the court has decided to take judicial notice of, which is still something that is proposed by one of the parties, which is that, hey, you need to know about this other thing that is relevant to this. And that has always been a linchpin in this particular case, that from the moment UMG started filing its responses, it filed a lengthy It was like they covered the whole alphabet in one filing of judicial notice. So they filed their motion to dismiss, and then they filed a motion for judicial notice. And what it was, hey, you need to see the attached. See the attached, okay? And what they included in that was the petition that Drake signed that said rap lyrics should not be used in court. Articles about Drake pre-beef to establish that there was already information or speculation at the very least about Drake in the public sphere, right? Lyrics of other songs from 2024. And that's how we get AI Tupac on the docket. And it was core to the judge's decision to dismiss, because what the judicial notice documents did for the court was give context. And the court is required in defamation cases to understand and judge the statements in the context in which they were made. And she specifically ruled Kendrick said what he said because these two were in dialogue with each other. And before Kendrick said what he said, using the AI voice of Tupac, Drake said, boom, boom, boom. You know what? I'm gonna have to go do some research, okay? Because again, I didn't even know. One of the looters alerted me to this, and I was like, "What you talking about, Willis?" Drake filed what? No, he didn't. And here we are reading the document. So, I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that. Okay, but if they do, we're obviously gonna read it here. But yeah, circling all the way back. The shooting has always been page 1, paragraph 1 of Drake's lawsuit. This is his narrative that he is trying to get off. Marshall Iron says, for those not familiar with how things are, you have to separate reality from what the court knows and sees. It's annoying and awkward, but it's how it works. Yes, it feels stupid. But I didn't do it. This is how it works. Right. The recording's fixation on Drake's alleged pedophilia and the uniquely damaging nature of such allegations distinguish this case from Rappaport versus Barstool. Rappaport involved a diss track video that, unlike the Rappaport involved a diss track video that, unlike Not Like Us, was not focused on a single theme, but instead made exaggerated, obviously hyperbolic, and vitriolic claims about all aspects of Rappaport's life, none of which claimed sexual criminal conduct against minors. The image associated with Not Like Us looks like a screenshot from Citizen showing sex offenders gathered at Drake's Toronto mansion. Indeed, people understood the image as supporting the recording's pedophilia allegations. The image below left is a literal map to Drake's Toronto home where vigilantes arrived to search for suspected sex predators or endangered minors. Compare this to the obviously doctored, non-actionable visuals in Rappaport, depicting a cartoon saltine sauntering on an anonymous street. The court's summary judgment decision in Rappaport simply cannot support dismissing here. Now, it's been a while since I've seen this cracker image from Rappaport v. Barstool. I told you to strap in, beloved. Drake has already gone on record as saying that UMG didn't care if he was assaulted or worse. Or worse, after assault is death. So he's on this whole there was a plot and they didn't care if I died in the process of them making money off of this song. You're the cracker honky. Demetrius asks, is alleging the assailants were searching for endangered minors new? I don't remember that one. That is new. I'm not here to lie to you. Oh, he brought up Pizzagate. He brought up Pizzagate. He brought up Pizzagate in his original and amended lawsuit in the context that we're all crazy. We're all a part of some hive mind groupthink hysteria pushing a conspiracy about Drake being a pedophile. That is in his lawsuit, and the expert that he cites Pizzagate. You're gonna have to be more specific. When was that bit of information revealed to the public? What is that bit of information to which you refer? Nana says, my wine is turning into vodka. This seems reasonable. I have no alcohol in this house, so hit the like button, share the live. Yeah, we've got every document read on this channel, so y'all can run it back to remind yourselves of the horror. Hello, beautiful. Good to see you. Y'all can support the channel by hitting the like button, subscribing, making a contribution to the DACA fund is greatly appreciated. So he doesn't have to really prove any of this, just make it sound believable. It needs to be tied to the law because he needs to have suffered damages that the court has jurisdiction to give him relief from. But at this stage, no, he doesn't need any evidence. He doesn't need any evidence. Well, in effect, Pizzagate was real, just not in the way that it was initially described to be. Wow. D2B2, thank you, beautiful. To the docket fund. Aubrey is a hoe cake. Yes, he is. Mika Red. Hashtag alcohol fund. Thank you, beautiful. We don't know. We don't know. Let me look at this paragraph again and see if I can figure out off the top of my head what the reference is. They don't have a citation. Hold on. Wait. I don't, there they do have a citation there. I don't know what it is. Because I wonder if this citation right here, this is what I'm looking at right here. The image below is a literal map to Drake's Toronto home where vigilantes arrived to search for suspected sex predators or endangered minors. See, and then citation. I'm wondering if this citation is a reference to Pizzagate because they've literally never said those words in a previous filing that bluntly. There's no way I blacked that out. And they like to Drake's lawyers are good for the bait and switch. They're real good at giving the appearance of something and it not actually being that. So I really wonder what this citation is and if it's there to give the appearance of being more powerful than it actually is. So that's all I can give you on that for now. UMG further rewrites the amended complaint. UMG contends that the entire rap battle, not just the recording, became ubiquitous, so reasonable listeners would judge the recording through the lens of the entire feud. In support, UMG cites none of the 266 pleaded allegations. Instead, it cites the district court's improper findings of fact. The amended complaint and reality tell a different story. Of all the songs published during the rap beef, the recording is the only one that broke through the noise and achieved cultural ubiquity. They're quoting themselves. The second most popular song had 4.1% of the recording's views. The others had fewer. And the recording was repeatedly republished in contexts far removed from the rap battle, including to the largest Super Bowl audience in history. The reasonable listener defined by UMG and the district court thus represented at most 4.1% of listeners. The law does not permit the court to counterfactually declare 95% of listeners unreasonable. UMG's revisionist history illustrates its and the district court's repeated failures to accept the pleaded facts, contrary to the motion to dismiss standard. A motion to dismiss must be denied if any reading of the complaint supports the defamation claim. Drake's allegations meet that standard. UMG responds that whether a statement constitutes fact or opinion is a question of law. True enough, but that legal question depends on subsidiary questions of fact that the district court could not resolve against Drake at this juncture. I'm trying to figure out what I can skip here. There's a lot of case law stuff. The question of whether the statements at issue are statements of fact is a legal one informed by factual context of the statements in question. Motion to dismiss sometimes requires resolution of subsidiary factual disputes that are inappropriate for resolution at that stage. The district court erred in considering extra record materials. That's the oh God, what's it called? We just talked about it. I just explained to you what it is. Judicial notice. Ooh, sorry. Judicial notice. They're calling them extra record materials. The court erred in considering extra record materials to draw inferences against Drake's well-pleaded allegations. Those materials provided the only evidence supporting the court's articulation of an unduly broad context. the entire rap battle. Thus, rather than assess how a reasonable listener would understand the recording, the court looked to how a rap superfan might have done so. The district court's consideration of material outside of the pleadings that was not attached to the complaint, incorporated by reference, or integral to the complaint, required it to convert the motion into one for summary judgment. Its failure to do so is reversible error. The court precluded Drake from rebutting its and UMG's unreasonable inferences. This error is especially stark with respect to Tailor Made Freestyle, which was not mentioned in the amended complaint, only publicly available for 1 week, and whose contested lyrics are not even Drake's voice. He contests the lyrics in Tailor Made Freestyle? And so shh, why you gotta bring up bullshit? Drake's lawyers, probably. I'm so befuddled right now because there are people who've been saying from the beginning, watch Drake say that he didn't even say it and blah, 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 blah. And I chided you every single time because that's fucking absurd. And here we are. I'm having a meltdown. I'm having a meltdown. I'm having a meltdown. Fateless. Where's Fateless? I need my comfort. Fateless. I need a dazed plushie. Oh, God. Oh, I just got an idea. Okay, I'm gonna make that happen. Now listen here, you already pushing the line. Don't start. Y'all throw auntie $2 on the Cash App for a drink, child. Okay, throw me $2 for a drink because this is insanity. Yes, and a dazed emotional support plushie. Okay, I'm gonna read it again. Okay. Everybody brace yourself. Just hold on to something. Maybe it didn't say that. Maybe I misread it. Hold on. Hold on now. Maybe I made a mistake. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm like, do I remember there being like animal shaped pillows or something available from the companies that produced the merch? I feel like I remember that. We do have in a dazed cat design. Maybe I got it wrong. Hold on. Jesus, hold on. Okay, okay, okay. In battle, they call that a reach. Shout out to everybody who's watching. Hit the like button, share the live. Y'all clean your ears out. Something must be wrong. This error is especially stark with respect to Tailor Made Freestyle, which was not mentioned in the amended complaint, only publicly available for 1 week, and whose contested lyrics are not even Drake's voice. No, this is fucked up because I know enough about Drake's house to get a visual in my head. Niecy says, I know Pac's ring is spinning, spinning in whatever drawer he has it in. Oh, oh. Okay, you had a pocket for the fine Tupac fund. Oh my God. Oh. Oh, this is oh Jesus, don't do this to me. Don't take me out. Wait, we got pages to go. We got pages to go. Don't take me out the fight. Don't take me out the fight. Don't take me out, coach. Don't take me out. I can do it. I can do it. Oh Jesus. Okay. No comment. No comment. Oh, back to the basics. Thank you so much. I hope you're feeling better, absent for the dog and fun. Well, this is, I mean, delightfully torturous. Perfect for after dark around these parts. Oh, still on the ring is spinning. Oh my God, the ring is spinning. I love it so much. Oh, curse of Ra on this man. Despite this, the court found that a reasonable listener would have understood the recording's pedophilia allegations as a callback to tailor-made freestyle. The reliance on materials outside the pleadings deprived Drake of the opportunity to rebut this counterfactual assertion. The recording's popularity and reach are unprecedented, as the recording and video were heard and or viewed over 9 billion times. In contrast, Tailor Made Freestyle was a far less popular song, only available online for 1 week before it was removed so quickly that its limited listenership cannot be determined. Given this, the reasonable listener of the recording is someone who never heard Tailor Made Freestyle, and certainly not, as the court concluded, someone who was familiar with the history of rap and diss tracks, was familiar with the Drake Lamar feud, knew all of the prior songs, believed them to be in dialogue, would interpret the extraordinarily popular recording with reference to the far less pervasive Tailor Made Freestyle, would interpret Tailor Made Freestyle as goading, would see the recording as responding to goading, and would, for some still unexplained reason, conclude that the recording was asserting opinion, not fact. To somebody's point earlier who said, didn't Drake say that that judicial notice could be taken of the songs during oral arguments? Yes, they did. And here's a footnote. Cha 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 cha. UMG errs in asserting Drake waived this argument by acknowledging songs could be judicially noted. As explained, the problem is not that the court took judicial notice of the lyrics themselves, but rather how the court used those lyrics to draw inferences and resolve disputed facts adverse to the well pleaded allegations. The original 6'3" black male says, "What about the reactions reactors done to Tailor Made? What about all of the articles published about it? What about the actual literal Wikipedia set up specific to the war?" That's counter evidence, beloved. That's what that is. This is Drake turns to tell Drake's story. Stop being selfish now. Drake has a story, wants to tell you what happened over the weekend at home. He listened to your story. You need to listen to his story. Shh. Drake is sharing. I love you. Thank you. They really did. They really filed it. Yes, they did. For those of you who are new, that's our airlock. Keep the fuckery to yourself. Okay? Thank you. Lots of this. Lots of actually from Drake's camp in this lawsuit. Reduye 2. NLU can be referring to million Drakes if taken out of context of the beef. Sure, Drake May. He was talking about Drake May. Drake Bell. Well, that's never a good look. Somebody said earlier, I'm enjoying how Drake is pretzeling himself. And that's exactly what he's doing. He is pretzeling himself to try and make it make sense. This shit don't make no sense, dog. UMG also asserts that Drake could not provide an alternative explanation for the lyrics that it claims goaded Lamar to make pedophilia allegations. Talk about him liking young girls, that's a gift from me. Heard it on the Budden podcast, it's got to be true. But it was not Drake's burden at the motion to dismiss stage to explain what was incorrect about the factual allegations UMG offered to rebut pleaded facts. Oh, okay. Sorry. It was not Drake's burden at the motion to dismiss stage to explain what was incorrect about the factual allegations UMG offered to rebut pleaded facts. Regardless, UMG is wrong. Given the opportunity at summary judgment, Drake could have provided a ready alternative. Before Taylor Made Freestyle was released, the Budden podcast Given the opportunity at summary judgment, Drake could have provided a ready alternative. Okay, keep this in let's remember we are about to get an alternate explanation for talk about him liking young girls, that's a gift from me. Heard it on the Budden podcast, it's got to be true. Ready? Given the opportunity at summary judgment, Drake could have provided a ready alternative before Taylor Made Freestyle was released. The Budden podcast criticized Drake for dating adult women who the host deemed too young for Drake. See the Joe Budden podcast, episode 664, 8:45 a.m. in Fayetteville. Timestamp. Quote, get the fuck away from some of these younger niggas and stop fucking these 25-year-olds. Why are you still fucking the 25-year-olds? You're a 37-year-old billionaire. End quote. I wonder how many episodes of the Budden podcast they had to listen to, or their bots had to, get the transcripts of and identify how many that they had to go through in order to identify when Joe Budden says something about Drake dating somebody younger who is not a minor. No, not even close. Yes, and they could not give an answer. And she said repeatedly that she didn't infer anything. Words have meaning and definition, and that's it. This is Drake's bait and switch. Kendrick is referring to one thing that Joe Budden said. Drake is referring to something else that Joe Budden said. Kenny is referring to one thing that Joe Budden said about Drake. Drake is referring to something else that Joe Budden said about Drake. This is how it works on the court docket. You just need to find something else that's plausible and slot it in. I don't know if this constitutes like presenting new information. I wonder if UMG is incensed by this filing. Because there are a couple things in here that are new, and there shouldn't be anything new in here. Fateless? I have no idea what this means. There are a couple things in this that are new words. And you're not supposed to file new words. I really don't know how I feel about this paragraph being in here. Let me read these. Ooh, Amici. Let me read these footnotes. Although UMG and Amici might finally attuned, excuse me, although UMG and the Amici, this is Amici are the friends of the court, the amicus briefs. Although UMG and Amici might be finely attuned to the history and norms of rap diss tracks, nothing in the pleadings or common sense suggests the average listener would be. Amici raised the imaginative argument that Drake consented to being called a pedophile through tailor-made freestyle, but consent to defamation is an affirmative defense that UMG never raised. And it applies only when the consenting party has effective control over the dissemination of the defamatory material, which Drake lacked. Thank you. I do believe what you mean is the challenger consented to the fight. Now in a mug and a magnet. Help out the docket fund. Get you some little merchy merch. See how ready I was for that? Yeah, Betty. I just don't know how I feel about them giving a definition, period. But yes, they do, at least in the footnotes, touch on the amicus brief. Consent to defamation is an affirmative defense that UMG never raised. I'm trying to decide if I agree with them that UMG never raised some aspect of consent. I know that they didn't as a legal argument because consent has been mentioned before in filings, but the sharpest that we have examined consent was through the amicus brief. I can't think of anything. Shout out to everybody who's watching. Hit the like button, share the live. On this, we agree. Being 60-10, he has no shame. On this, we agree, beloved. Welcome. Okay. UMG points to no case where a court used extra record material in the way the district court did. And UMG fails to address cases where this court has reversed when a district court considered external material to make a finding of fact that controverted the plaintiff's own factual assertions set out in its complaint. That silence speaks volumes. As discussed, the district court's consideration of extra record materials led it to define the relevant context too broadly. Sorry, I just had something else pop into my head. Fateless, you know what I'm most interested in? Can you see the docket on Court Listener? Or anybody? Alex, can you see the docket on Court Listener? You know what I'm most interested in? I'm most interested in when UMG filed their brief to the appeals court, did it go brief response reply? Drake filed his brief. UMG responded. Drake replied to their response. Because if that's the case, I cannot keep track of how many lives we've had. If that's the case, then we're going to get a reply from UMG to this document. Thanks. No, on appeal. On appeal. We're at the appeal level. So Drake filed his brief to the court. UMG responded. My question is, did Drake file a reply to UMG's response? This, what we're reading, is Drake's response to UMG's brief. I'm trying to figure out, does UMG file a reply? We would be able to determine that by looking at the flip side of what already happened. And that would be available. You'd be able to suss that. Okay. As discussed, the district court's consideration of extra record materials led it to define the relevant context too broadly. UMG highlights its misunderstanding of the law by arguing, surely Drake cannot contend that 20 million people who watched the Democratic National Convention had no knowledge of the rap battle. Drake need not show that no one was aware of the rap battle. He need only show that the reasonable viewer would not necessarily have known the details of its back and forth or interpreted the recording's allegations the way the court did. He did so. Again, the second most popular song had only 4.1% of the recording's views. That necessarily means most of the 20 million DNC viewers would not have heard even the next most popular song, let alone the only available for 1 week tailor-made freestyle. I don't know if this is an answer to my question or if this is in reference to something else. I said that already. And it's not a judge ruling on it yet. That's not how it works. And that's not what we're talking about. None of UMG's or the district court's authority supports assuming, contrary to well-pleaded facts, that the reasonable listener would have specialized knowledge about the feud and prior songs. Unlike the recording, the Rappaport video itself described the recent history of the acrimonious dispute, of which the statements were a part. That provided context for the reasonable listener. Oh, he's going through case law. That's irrelevant to what's being argued right now, but you are correct. Beloved, thank you so much for this, but you know what? I asked a very specific question to one of the mod captains for a very specific reason, because I know what you're trying to say, but you said it wrong. And if you think I'm chiding you, I'm not chiding you, and I'm not trying to embarrass you. There's no such thing as a reply to a reply on the court docket. That's why I'm using very specific language to ask them a very specific question to elicit a very specific answer. Okay? Thank you. Appreciate you. There's no reply to the reply, but thank you. No, I'll have to look at it later. Or, yeah, I'll have to look at it later. But thank you for trying. I appreciate you. I'll look at it later to figure out the answer. Listen, I understand what everybody's saying, okay? And I know this seems really incredulous to a lot of you. Like you have to get over your disbelief of how absurd this all sounds. Period. You have to set aside what you know in your brain happened. Period. It's not relevant on the court docket unless somebody puts it on the court docket. And at this stage in the appeal, it can't be entered into the court record anyway, because the appeal is based on what was originally argued in the original lawsuit. But you have to set aside what it is that you experienced in the beef. You have to set aside what you saw, what you heard. You have to set aside your experience of it. That you think, because it is your experience, is empirical evidence. And you can look at these words on paper and say, that's not what happened. Prove it. Prove it. Prove it in court. Prove it. How do you prove what Kendrick Lamar, Joe Budden reference was in the song? How do you prove that? You subpoena the author. So we're in a different universe, in a different timeline. We're not in the timeline of the reality of what it is that we experienced and we know to be true. We're in the alternate universe and timeline of what is the court docket. It is the holy grail. And if it's not on the docket, it didn't happen. It's that simple. No, it's okay. It's I'm talking about you should be on the appeal docket, not on the lawsuit docket. So you should be on the Second Circuit docket, and both parties file briefs to the panel. So there's entries on the docket. There's the appellate's brief and there's the appellee's brief. So Drake filed his brief. UMG responded or replied to the brief. My question is, was there something after that? Now we're on the flip side, but I can figure that out later. It's okay. You can stop. I don't know. I think that Drake wants a settlement of cash. That's what I think. I think he wants a settlement of cash. And I think he doesn't care how he gets it. And he will push this as far as he possibly can to get that money. Yes, beloved. Yes. Mhm. Don't know. Yes, he has requested a jury trial. UMG's suggestion that Drake himself introduced the context in his complaint lacks merit. The amended complaint does not mention tailor-made freestyle, and the court directly contradicted the amended complaint's well-pleaded allegations regarding the popularity and ubiquity of the other songs. I mean, really what this does is just confirm everything that we've been saying for over a year here, chat, which is that he intentionally, this is all premeditated. He knew, his lawyers knew what they were doing by leaving out tailor-made freestyle. It's central to their strategy. Keeping tailor-made freestyle is central to their strategy. So much so that now they say the lyrics are contested. They're trying to push an alternate meaning of what the lyrics mean with a new reference, which is crazy to me. Here's what we would have said if given the opportunity at summary judgment. To my understanding, is not something you're supposed to put in an appeal. They're desperate to try and get some things off. And they're pushing hard and making claims to the court. They're strongly giving the court the appearance that they have developed evidence of wrongdoing. This is a really aggressive filing. One of the very first things he says in this document is, we did discover things in the early stages of discovery, and we would have been able to present that to fight summary judgment, but we didn't get that opportunity because the judge did not convert motion to dismiss to summary judgment. She just dismissed wrongly. But we have evidence. This is a bold filing. Really bold. I think it's desperate. I don't know enough about the federal rules and the appellate rules on procedure to know if it's crossing a line or not. But it strikes me as very aggressive, potentially inappropriate. Exactly. We're all learning new things, and these are questions that, yeah, we're all gonna do a little bit of more research on, and as I said, coincidentally, I've been starting to send out emails to various folks that worked on the amicus briefs, so maybe I'll be able to ask them in their experience, is this normal? So, the amended complaint does not mention tailor-made freestyle, and the court directly contradicted the amended complaint's well-pleaded allegations regarding the popularity and ubiquity of other songs. While arguing that extra complaint materials are fair game, UMG asks this court to disregard the pleaded broader social context and surrounding circumstances. The recording surfaced after the Me Too movement. This is really testing me. Why am I reading new words? This is really fucking with me. UMG will follow the rules. The recording surfaced after the Me Too movement, in which celebrities, including rappers, faced severe consequences for sexual misconduct and child abuse crimes. UMG's response that those individuals were indicted by federal prosecutors misses the point. Given the cultural context, listeners were primed to and did. Oh, this is the one that we're all hive mind crazy. Right. That's what this is. Given the cultural context, listeners were primed to and did take the recording's allegations as factual and viewed its subject as another Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, Sean P. Diddy Combs, or R. Kelly. It is reversible error that the district court drew inferences against Drake based on disputed interpretations of little known, extra pleading song lyrics while simultaneously ignoring well pleaded allegations like the broader social context regarding pedophilia allegations against male celebrities. He called Tailor Made Freestyle a little known song. It is reversible error that the district court drew inferences against Drake based on disputed interpretations of little known, extra pleading song lyrics while simultaneously ignoring well pleaded allegations like the broader social context regarding pedophilia allegations against male celebrities. Fateless, this is why I feel like this is inappropriate. This is why I feel like this is inappropriate, is because they did not contest the lyrics in Tailor Made Freestyle. They did not contest the meaning of the lyrics in Tailor Made Freestyle in oral argument. And now they're saying the meaning of those words are contested. That's a new argument. And that's why I feel like it's inappropriate. They're talking about UMG didn't raise consent, so this amicus brief is a new argument and irrelevant. Well, you didn't contest when the judge said, "I don't think I need to make any inference about the lyrics. Words mean words. Words mean what they're defined to mean. Can you offer me an alternate meaning of what these words together in this sentence mean?" And they could not. They didn't contest that at the time, and that's why I feel like it's potentially inappropriate. Also irrelevant. No, he did not. Baby, they say a shooting happened because of a song. We're past that. Okay? They say the image was a map for would-be assailants to attack Drake. We're past that. Okay? It's very much. Very much. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. No, this is not a waste of the court's time. You know why? Because freedom of speech in America hinges on it. Rap being recognized as a protected art form hinges on it. It's not a waste of time. Yeah. Drake is just but a putrid vessel by which we are forced to wrestle with a greater potential consequence. Because those are the rules. Hello, beautiful. I love your picture. Those are the rules. But also, I do, creative interpretations of transcripts. So if you want to hear the oral arguments, beloved, we got a video for that. I read the whole thing. It was exceptional, if I do say so myself. Not just any vessel, a putrid vessel. Yes, you did. But it's still the same thing. It's still the same thing. It still threatens the same thing because it still comes back to the same thing, right? So, yeah. He really is a fucking colonizer. Rhonda? Okay, let's get through this. My God, we're only halfway through. UMG next urges this court to disregard Drake's well-pleaded allegations that the recording was repeatedly republished to new audiences further removed from the original rap battle and prior songs. After baselessly asserting that this issue is waived when Drake repeatedly raised it below, UMG suggests that because Drake pleaded the recording was always popular, subsequent broadcasts could not be republications reaching new audiences. But Drake pleaded multiple republications that necessarily reached new audiences, including that UMG released the video after the rap battle was over and Drake had informed UMG of the shooting at his home, and republished the recording at political and sporting events, the Grammys, and the Super Bowl to a global audience almost a year after the original rap battle. Drake said, "Why you keep bringing up old shit? Why you keep republishing this song? It's to hurt me." UMG's argument also flops mathematically. The recording's immediate popularity, 96 million. Fuck. Y'all can still see me and hear me, right? I just had a StreamYard glitch. You don't know that. We suspect it, we don't know it. Okay, great. I'm the only one that can't see shit. Fantastic. Okay, great. UMG's argument also flops mathematically. The recording's immediate popularity, 96 million streams in a week, pales in comparison to the 3.65 billion total global views of the Super Bowl performance, a republication far outside the original rap battle, including to football fans who had never before heard the song or any of the songs that preceded it. UMG's assertion that the Super Bowl audience had even greater notice of the feud than the original audience runs directly into these allegations. UMG confusingly asserts that these are not republications. It is black letter law that the rebroadcasts that are intended to and actually reach a new audience are republications giving rise to a new cause of action. Courts likewise find publications where, as here, a subsequent broadcast is altered. UMG then argues that even assuming the recording was republished, the relevant context for the facts versus opinion inquiry is carved in stone at the time of initial publication. For support, UMG again primarily cites the district court's conclusory and unsupported statement that republication cannot transform Lamar's statement of opinion into UMG's statement of fact. Otherwise, UMG cites only an in opposite case, Cooper v. Franklin. Cooper found non-actionable three statements made in the days and weeks after a video of the plaintiff was circulated widely and became international news as a racial flashpoint during an ongoing, okay, blah, 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 blah. UMG basically asserts that Kendrick Lamar expressly contextualized the rap beef for the Super Bowl audience by saying, I want to play their favorite song, but you know they love to sue. Yet again, UMG ignores pleaded facts in favor of its narrative. In fact, the Super Bowl performance excluded the word pedophile. Although that failed to change the recording's core message, it implicitly concedes that viewers would take the lyrics literally. No, it doesn't, but that's their legal argument. It is also unclear why UMG thinks the threat of defamation liability would make listeners more likely to view the recording's assertions of pedophilia as opinion rather than fact. Although UMG purports to disclaim a categorical rule that statements in diss tracks cannot be defamatory, in UMG's view, a rap diss track signals, if not shouts, opinion, not fact. But not all listeners, especially of republished versions, would recognize it as part of that forum. Regardless, forum is not dispositive. Even in informal fora, statements need to be assessed on a case by case basis. Perhaps statements in rap diss tracks may only be actionable infrequently, but this case is one of those rare exceptions. The recording's lyrics, the realistic image, and the accompanying video falsely indict Drake, stating he is a certified pedophile. This message reached broad audiences and garnered serious reactions, including threats and an attempt on Drake's life. If the recording cannot support a defamation claim, nothing in this forum ever will. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. Oh my God. I fucking hate this nigga. Oh my fucking God. Oh my fucking God. Can you see the footnote? Oh my fucking God. I'm crashing out. I'm crashing out. I'm crashing out. I am officially fucking crashing out. You see this shit? Do you see this shit? Do you see this motherfucking shit? Do you see this shit? A holding that listeners cannot understand rap diss tracks to assert facts is inconsistent with the reality that rap lyrics are considered as evidence in criminal cases. Holding that listeners cannot understand rap diss tracks to assert facts is inconsistent with the reality that rap lyrics are considered as evidence in criminal cases. UMG and Amichi's personal nitpicking responses miss Drake's point. If criminal juries can use rap lyrics to determine that the person rapping actually committed the crime mentioned in a song, then surely reasonable listeners can likewise understand rap lyrics as asserting facts. You motherfucker! I'm sorry. My mouth is just sitting open. A holding that listeners cannot understand rap diss tracks to assert facts is inconsistent with the reality that rap lyrics are considered as evidence in criminal cases. UMG and Amichi's personal, nitpicking responses miss Drake's point. If criminal juries can use rap lyrics to determine that the person rapping actually committed the crime mentioned in a song, then surely reasonable listeners can likewise understand rap lyrics as asserting facts. You are a fucking bitch, Drake. You really are a fucking bitch. You don't know that. Period. Perhaps statements in rap diss tracks may only be actionable infrequently, but this case is one of those rare exceptions. The recording's lyrics, the realistic image, and the accompanying video falsely indict Drake, stating he is a certified pedophile. Both UMG and Amici suggest that the rap diss track forum must be treated with kid gloves, and that ruling for Drake, who is a rapper, poses a threat to the future of rap. This fear mongering is baseless. Many facets of defamation law and the First Amendment adequately protect artists' expression. For example, as a public figure plaintiff, Drake must show actual malice, that UMG acted with knowledge of falsity or a reckless disregard of the truth, which is not at issue here. That this case involves rap does not give UMG a free pass for defamation. UMG's newfound anything goes in music, no matter what approach, is also inconsistent with its own practices. Its standard recording contract includes a provision which permits UMG to eliminate material which, in UMG's judgment, constitutes defamation or libel. It's only now, when this reality collides with its commercial bottom line, that UMG pretends all rap is shielded from defamation liability. Alternatively, Drake has stated a defamation claim based on mixed opinion, a statement of opinion that implies that it is based upon facts which justify the opinion but are unknown to those reading or hearing it. This is in relation to the rabbit hole lyrics. What differentiates an actionable mixed opinion from a privileged pure opinion is the implication that the speaker knows certain facts unknown to the audience which support the speaker's opinion and are detrimental to the person being discussed. Drake pointed to two lyrics in the recording. Say, Drake, I hear you like 'em young, and rabbit hole is still deep. I can go further, I promise. That at a minimum could be viewed by a reasonable listener as containing the implication that Kendrick Lamar knows certain facts unknown to the audience, supporting the pedophilia allegations. Drake also explained that other songs in the pleadings suggested that Kendrick Lamar had undisclosed information about Drake. And real listeners had interpreted the recording's lyrics as implying undisclosed information. In a footnote, UMG baldly asserts that the rabbit hole lyric cannot be understood to imply undisclosed facts. Despite UMG's inappropriately placing the burden on Drake to put forth an alternative understanding of the lyrics of Tailor Made Freestyle, UMG makes no effort to propose any alternative interpretation, let alone show Drake's allegations, which must be credited, are unreasonable. Instead, UMG rehashes its context argument to claim that the lyrics could not be reasonably understood to imply undisclosed facts because they were part of a rap battle. UMG's cases support the non controversial proposition that when the overall context indicates viewers would not take statements seriously, that bears on the mixed opinion inquiry. But here, the context does not so indicate, especially given the repeated republications of the reporting. And in any event, the statements here are more facially suggestive of reliance on undisclosed facts that those in. Oh, and then he cites case law. UMG further argues against undisclosed facts because the allegations implicate controversies that are widely known or reported, namely rumors about Drake's relationships with minors. Even if credited, that argument is self defeating. If a reasonable listener were aware of existing rumors, she would be more likely to understand statements that an industry insider has heard information and can go deeper as suggesting supportive but undisclosed information. I'm going to read that again. And I find it ironic that this is the time that they decide to be inclusive in their language. So, fuck you, Drake. Anyway, even if credited, that argument is self defeating. If a reasonable listener were aware of existing rumors about Drake, that reasonable listener would be more likely to understand statements that an industry insider has heard information and can go deeper as suggesting supportive but undisclosed information about Drake liking young girls. UMG's argument fails for other reasons. First, the amended complaint does not plead anything about the existence of purported rumors, let alone that they are widely known or reported, nor could their existence be judicially noticed, but they were. The existence and widespread nature of a rumor is plainly subject to reasonable dispute. It is likewise insufficient that rumors were mentioned in judicially noticed articles. The court could not take the article's statements about rumors for the truth of the matter asserted. And she said that. She said that. She said, I am not taking notice of these articles that discuss the rumors about Drake having relationships with young women as fact. I'm taking notice of them because they exist. And they predate what Kendrick Lamar said. He's such a dick. I'm fed up. 10 more pages. I haven't even had dinner. We're not supposed to be here this long. Why is he doing this? Why is this happening? Hit the like button, share the live. Second, UMG again asked this court to make a factual finding these rumors exist and are widely known or reported without giving Drake the opportunity to submit contrary evidence. That is, again, improper. Third, UMG's cases are inopposite. Each concerned statements regarding well-known, undeniable factual events, not rumors. Case law. Okay, that's everything they had to say on defamation. We're moving on to harassment. The district court dismissed Drake's harassment claim because New York penal law does not create a private right of action. In doing so, the court countermanded Second Circuit authority, picked the wrong side of split New York decisions, and reached a conclusion at odds with New York's lenient and permissive private right of action test. UMG's response misrepresents the law and forgets contrary authority, and UMG's perfunctory alternative arguments fail. I'm going to do a lot of skimming these last 10 pages. UMG's primary argument against recognizing a private right of action here is that such actions are barred wherever a statute provides for criminal enforcement. That's not what they said, but what the fuck ever. Jesus Christ. I'm so sick of Drake's lawyers. They are forever saying that UMG said something that UMG didn't say. That is incorrect. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm skimming. I'm hangry. I ain't got no alcohol in this motherfucker. UMG fails to address Drake's arguments. Drake cited 8 cases finding private right of action for harassment and 2 others supporting his interpretation of case law. UMG only mentions these authorities in a footnote, suggesting they are tainted because they rely on specific case law, which UMG incorrectly dismisses as outdated dicta. UMG misrepresents its authorities. UMG asserts that uniform New York appellate precedent rejects a private right of action, but UMG largely ignores a contrary appellate decision, and 2 of its 3 cases hold only that there is no independent harassment tort. They do not even mention the private right of action doctrine. Despite Drake pointing out this exact same error, UMG cannot explain how cases never citing specific law can reject a private right of action under it. A lot of this is dense case law, so I'm skipping it. It's not very juicy. Drake adequately alleged that UMG acted with intent to harass, annoy, or alarm. That's language per the law in New York. Issues of intent and motive are typically factual inquiries that should not be decided on a motion to dismiss unless the non-movement movement has failed to allege any evidence that the defendants acted with scienter. Jesus Christ. I feel like I'm reading that Baby Keem article again. Drake pleaded both that UMG had an incentive to devalue his music and that UMG continued to publish and promote material accusing Drake of sexually abusing children, even after Drake informed it of the allegations' falsity and the violent assault. Those intent allegations suffice at this stage. Second, Drake pleaded that UMG acted with no legitimate purpose. There is no legitimate purpose in baselessly hurling pedophilia accusations, especially after UMG learned of the violent consequences. UMG relies on its financial motive, but its sole-sided case does not hold that a partial financial motivation shields otherwise illegitimate conduct from harassment liability. Third, Drake alleged that UMG engaged in a course of conduct or repeatedly committed qualifying acts of harassment. This element imposes a minimum burden. UMG suggests that the harassment claim violates the First Amendment because the recording is pure speech. But the cases that it cites involves government regulation of speech via criminal prosecution, not a private civil claim. Interesting. Regardless, Drake's claim is based not on pure speech, but on UMG's conduct in publishing, vigorously promoting, and republishing the recording. Finally, this court should reverse the dismissal of Drake's claim that UMG violated New York General Business Law Section 349. Drake has pleaded sufficient facts supporting a covert scheme. UMG argues that Drake failed to allege the existence of a covert scheme because Drake relies on allegations made on information and belief and predicated on a handful of largely anonymized online posts. Again, both UMG misstates Again, UMG misstates both the allegations in the amended complaint and the law. On the allegations, Drake pleaded numerous facts suggesting that UMG used a covert scheme to boost the recording's popularity, only some of which were upon information and belief. Allegations included, on information and belief, UMG used bots to spread the recording on Spotify. Botted streams are a serious, you got some motherfucking nerve, problem. Budden indicated that Kendrick used bots to boost the recording's popularity. A social media user posted a video demonstrating how to use a bot streamer and explained that UMG and Lamar had used that tool to boost the recording's popularity. Social media users implicated UMG in paid promotion of the recording. On information and belief, UMG provided financial incentives to streaming platforms. Third parties documented streaming irregularities that boosted access to the recording. On information and belief, UMG took part in Pay for Play, and UMG has previously paid millions in a settlement after a Pay for Play investigation, supporting an inference of Pay for Play in this case. On the law, UMG takes issue with Drake's argument that a plaintiff may plead facts on information and belief where the facts are peculiarly within the possession of the defendant or where the belief is based on factual information that makes the inference of culpability plausible. But UMG cited cases suggest at most that information and belief pleading is insufficient when plaintiffs provide no supporting facts whatsoever. UMG argues that Drake cannot rely on Kendrick Lamar's conduct to support deceptive business practices claim against UMG, but Drake pleaded that UMG's unlawful conduct was carried out directly or indirectly through its agents and that UMG conspired to artificially inflate the recording's popularity. They say that the court misapplied case law, incorrectly requiring Drake to show that it was highly plausible UMG had used unlawful business practices. UMG does not defend that standard, which plainly exceeds case law standards. Oh, my brain is starting to fade. None of the case law standards do what UMG asks. Weigh the credibility of a plaintiff's allegation, decide that those relying on online sources are too unreliable to count, and then disregard the well pleaded facts rather than construing them in the plaintiff's favor. Drake alleged that the acts or practices using deceptive methods to artificially boost the recording's popularity have a broad impact on consumers at large. Music consumers expect that recommendations from music service providers are based on a legitimate rationale, not the record label's backroom transactions. Sure, Jan. UMG contends that the conduct must result in a transaction in which the consumer was harmed. Again, UMG fails to mention Drake's cited authorities holding the opposite. While the typical case under the law generally involves claims arising directly out of a commercial transaction between a plaintiff consumer and a defendant seller, neither the text of the statute nor the case law establishes this requirement. And then it argues against some of UMG's case law. Drake has shown impacted transactions as consumers pay for music streaming services. Finally, UMG argues this court to affirm on another alternative ground. Drake was not injured by the deception. This court should instead remand. Nonetheless, this argument fails. Drake alleges that he was harmed as an artist, i.e., a competitor to Lamar, because UMG falsely inflating the recording's popularity and especially redirecting users from Drake's songs towards the recording cost him the opportunity for his songs to be streamed and to gain royalties. This is akin to competitor injuries New York courts have recognized. A bunch of case law. This injury is neither derivative nor indirect. UMG's passing assertion that any harm is speculative fails because Drake pleaded that users were diverted from his songs towards the recording. That is precisely the type of harm found to be sufficient at the summary judgment stage in a previous case. Surely then it is enough to state a claim. This court should reverse the dismissal of the amended complaint. Dated today, Michael Gottlieb. I hate every one of your filings on this case, sir. You're a sneaky, snaky writer, and I don't like it. Okay, I'm metaphorically taking a bow. I did it. Support the docket fund. Jesus Christ, we made it. We made it. Yeah, we made it. We made it. We sure did. I don't know. I don't know what to say to this document, chat. I'm stunned by it. I didn't think it was going to be that infuriating, outraging, outrageous, whatever words it is that you want to put to it. I mean, he's made a dig at the rap scholars before. I really want to understand why he said their nitpicking was personal. I don't understand why he said that. But he really swipes at them. A really catty, full clawed swipe more than once at both of the amicus briefs filed, rap scholars and self-help. The challenger consented to the fight. He pushes things that he has not explicitly said before in the case, and he flips on rap as evidence in criminal proceedings. Now, that is remarkable. I mean, he basically already had, right, in bringing this lawsuit, but there is nothing. I mean, Drake is pulling out all the stops. Nothing is sacred. Nothing is sacred. He went ahead and said, yeah, remember that petition I signed? I burned that shit. I don't give a fuck if rap is an art form. It already has enough protections. That's what he said. Rap has enough protections. The First Amendment is fine. Nigga. I don't give a fuck about Dirk. He's a killer. And the fact of the matter is, Rap lyrics can be used in court, period. Oh my God. He did say that, didn't he? Drake fights like a cat. Most rappers fight like dogs. I think it's hilarious that in this document, Drake had to say that Drake is a rapper in parentheses. I had to keep myself from busting out laughing because all I heard was Josh Johnson's voice saying, Drake is a rapper, sir. Baby, nothing is a distraction from anything on this channel. Okay, we don't live in the world of they're doing this as a distract. We don't live in that world. People do what works for them, period, from moment to moment. I'm stunned by this filing. I I really don't even know what to say. Drake has a lot of feelings. Drake was a rapper. Oh, Josh Johnson, you blessed, blessed man. Yeah, I don't even I don't even know what to say except for thank you to everybody who's contributed to the docket fund. I really appreciate you. We're still paying down the first quarter of 2026. It gets expensive around here. There's a lot that I have to pay for and read that I don't necessarily have a live for because it's uninteresting, but it's background information that I need to know to keep me abreast of what is going on in a case so that when things hit the docket that are specifically interesting, I have other information that at that point I can kind of layer in as necessary. But if you're wondering, it costs me money every time I want to look at a docket. Okay. That's why I said when this broke into the live where we were talking about whatever the fuck it was we were talking about, and people were like, it's on court listener. I was like, I don't see it. I'm going straight to the you got to pay $3 to even look at this screen to see if it's on here. And then you got to pay money to download it if it's on this website, federal website to look for it. So yeah. It's aggressive. It's very aggressive. I mean, they got to try. That's how I see it. This appeal, a lot hinges on this appeal, right? A lot hinges on this appeal. If the appeals court affirms the lower court's ruling, Drake is asked out of a lot. A lot. You spend a lot of money, cash, money, a lot of time, a lot of emotional investment in this case. So, in that regard, strategically, not surprised that they're being aggressive because this is their last ditch effort. They have nothing. If they lose appeal, that's it. So, I think the thing that is really important to continue to point out for folks is that if Drake wins the appeal, it is not indicative of him winning the ultimate case. The appeal is technical. Did the judge interpret and apply the law correctly? If the appeal court says no, to the extent that it should not have been dismissed, then it just goes back into litigation. But it is not an indicator in any way, shape, or form that he's going to be successful. And there is at least one other opportunity for UMG to get the case dismissed. So, what I will be researching next is Is there a reply to this reply? Should we be anticipating that that is going to happen? The other thing that I will be looking for, and again, it's going to take several weeks. The appellate court moves quite slow. They've got their own they've got their own method of counting time. Um, at some point in time, we're going to get an indication of whether or not this is or is not going to get calendared for oral arguments. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh no, babe. Oh no, we don't do that here. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. You know why you don't cite motherfucking complex to me? Because this is inaccurate information. We don't do that here. This is a benevolent democracy. I'm the expert. So I either know or I don't. I go actually study the federal rules to come up with an answer. Requesting oral arguments does not guarantee that you are going to get them. Period. I hate that comment so much, I'm deleting it so I don't have to stare at it while I wait for it to get pushed out. Hiss. Tamao, tamao, tamao. Complex doesn't know a fucking thing about litigation or the appellate process, and that is inaccurate information. There's also the fact that, remember, Drake has asked for a carve-out. He has asked for an aspect of his appeal. He's asked for the appeal to basically stop and for a portion of it to be carved out and sent back to the New York Court of Appeals to ask them if they really meant what they meant when they made a decision in another case that impacts his case. So oral arguments are not next. And oral arguments are not a guarantee. The court has not granted that they are going to do that. Correct. So, yeah, do not cite complex to me. I'm throwing holy water at the screen. Don't do that. For those who know, you know. And for those who don't know, you don't know. And you probably gonna go, but you know. Litigious titties for everybody. Damn. That was rough. That was really rough. Hungry, I'm tired, I don't have any alcohol. I can't even see how long I've been here because the thing glitched. Can't see anything. I know we've been here for a while. I know that. No, it's not. It's not. It's a standard of presenting accurate information, period. If you took offense to it, okay. But that's how we get down here. It's a standard of protecting and making. You're not going to say, oh, somebody said it here. Oh, I heard it on APSA's. Oh, APSA's chat was talking about. No, the fuck they weren't. So it's not mean. Okay. I may not be working my ass off to over ingratiate myself, but turnabout is fair play. I'm not catching a bunch of grace either. But you, meaning people in the chat or people who are casual watchers, because I'm not attacking you and this is not directed at you, don't give a shit. So I'd rather protect my peace, my health, my well being, as this being my second day back, and also maintain that standard. We also have a comment and mod policy. Every comment on this channel is moderated. Every fucking one. Why? Because I don't have time for biscuit headassery. I don't have time for people attacking people in the chat who are keeping it cute, having a good time, leaving their comments. I don't have time for people coming in trying to cheerlead somebody else's fucking channel and spread misinformation that they heard from somebody else's channel in my comment section or in my chat. This is a benevolent democracy. Here, I am the dictator. People don't come here for fuckery. They come here for me to break down information and for me to be honest about saying I don't know when I don't know, and for me to check misinformation when it happens. And as I always say, when something 9 times out of 10, when something happens in the chat, that is a spark that kicks off a response. And if you take it personally, there's nothing that I can do about that. It's not directed at you. It's directed at the masses. As I said earlier, get out the way. I got something to say. And I'm not going to have this fucking debate over Complex because fuck them coming and going. You must be kidding. I don't care if people are sensitive because it's an authority for them. It's not an authority here on the process. We literally just heard Joe Budden be invoked in a defamation lawsuit as a credible source because he sits on his podcast and says anything for views. Got to be more responsible, got to be smarter. I'm old, baby. I got old eyes. This is not necessary. So, I Jesus fucking Christ. I'm not going to apologize for having a standard. And I'm not a mean person. I have boundaries. That's why I'm still alive today. So, since it worked in that regard, I'm going to stick with it. I've got them blocked on everything. There have been several times where people have been like, it's not complex. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm not going to see it then because I've been done had complex blocked on everything. I don't want to hear shit you have to say. They're part of the problem. As an institution, complex is a part of the problem of the commodification of the culture. So I'm disinterested. And you are not about to tell me to refer to them as a source on what does and does not happen next in this case. They don't give a fuck about what actually does and doesn't happen. They just want the high flash points. We peak and valley here. We nuance here. There's going to be a bunch of procedural shit. That's what's going to happen on the docket. And I've had this conversation before. It was about Drake when people were saying that the daughter has been discovered and proven and all of this stuff, and people were asking me why, don't talk about it. I did a whole thing. I did a video. I did written articles about first of all, I'm not afraid to be wrong. Second of all, I'm not afraid to miss a thing, to err on the side of caution. I'd rather err on the side of caution and miss a breaking news thing than I would to be wrong about it. And I know that it is very normal for people to just go on the internet and say what the fuck ever and be wrong, and there be no consequences, and people are just frolicking in, the fucking sludge of disinformation. I'm old, babe. I'm not one of those people who's only had a professional career as somebody who talks shit on the internet. I've lived in the real world with a professional career in the real world where there are real consequences for talking out the side of your fucking neck and having nothing to back it up. So I'd rather err on the side of caution and be wrong than be first. I hate that shit. You've got to be fucking kidding me right now. That disclaimer means nothing. The problem is that people are frustrated with and don't realize that the root of their frustration is their own fucking ignorance and the stupid shit they believe out there in the world. I'm almost 50 years old. Do you mean to tell me that you think that nothing Joe Biden has said on his podcast has been a fact? Ever? Is that what you mean to tell me? This is a rhetorical question. Of course you don't mean to tell me that because that's absurd. So when he has a blanket disclaimer at the beginning of his podcast that says nothing on this podcast that is said is true, that's a lie. It doesn't hold. When he pontificates about what the weather was like when he was driving to the studio, he's factually commentating on the actual fucking weather that can be backed up by forecasts. That's called evidence. So he does make factual statements. That is a shield made out of tinfoil, and I don't recognize it as something that could actually stop a bullet. Biden, Budden. I'm tired. So, yeah. Biden, Budden, Buden. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Budden, Bidden, Biden. that naked hallway boy. How about that? You want that image back? Should I dig that one up? Feel like the chat needs to be punished with something. Giving me a hard time. You want that photo back? You need some Rick Ross titties? What's going on? Huh? Huh? I'm here doing a public goddamn service. You better be nice to me. Bad APSA. Bad APSA. I'm defending myself. Bad APSA. No. Fuck your water bottle. I'm defending myself. This is what I want to see. No, we're sorry. All you had to do was apologize. All you had to do was apologize. I got feelings too. Don't reset the Rick Ross titties counter. I know you've made it several weeks. We can run this bitch right back. Fuck your water bottle. Sounds like something the pet psychic would have relayed from a cat. For sure, for sure. Hello, beautiful. We're in the long black goodbye at this point in time. You let me take these off. This should be the first indicator for the glasses are gone. Okay, it's after dark. Leave me the fuck alone. Leave me the fuck alone. You don't want bloated beer torso? You don't want Joey's bloated beer torso? Body shamer. Shame on you. This is all I got to defend myself. It's Rick Ross's titties and Joey's beer bloated torso. Ugh. Mm, 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 mm. I know it has been it has been it has been an interesting time, hasn't it? We are all a little fragile. I understand. I do understand. We are all a little fragile. It's all right. All right. Damn. But yeah, you can be like, fuck this bitch and bounce. Babes, I don't care. Okay? I'm not gonna stay up tonight thinking about it and oh my God. And no. I'm not gonna do that. Okay. I'm not gonna do that. If it's not your cuppa, it's not your cuppa. I wish you peace and blessings. Okay. I wish you peace and blessings. And that's all I can say. Well, then, you know what? We go together real bad. I'm glad you're still here. I blame Drake, not you. This is appropriate. Fantastic. Gavel. Jury agrees. This is definitely his fault. Shit. We wouldn't even be here. You need to leave. Nisi. Tash. Mika Red. Spooky Ariel. Mika Red again. D2B2. D2B2 again. Tiffany Shantae. Back to the basics. D2B2 again. Mika Red again. These people did some heavy lifting. Where the rest of y'all at? Y'all ain't got $2 for your auntie? I work like a dog all day. And I have to run both ways uphill to a bathroom. Let me quit. Let me quit. I'm a little loopy. You can hit the like button, that helps. You can subscribe, that helps. You can become a member, that helps. You can become one of my favorites. Wink, wink. You can buy some merch, that really helps the Docket Fund. You can make a direct contribution via Venmo or the Cash App. That definitely helps, baby. All my life I has to fight. All I can see is her in that NASA room. I work all day like a dog. Man, the fuck if I know. How you doing? It's good to see you. Oh my gosh, I agree. Can we start now? I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I agree. Let's start right now. We need to be meaner to Aubrey. So where we left off before we were rudely interrupted and had to, careen over to a docket for several hours. Where we left off was I had just asked the question, what is Drake blowing up in Canada? What is the explosion for? There you go. Be mean to him. Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, wow. Not his bloodline. Not his whole bloodline. I was thinking about, I think it was Afro Butterfly who came into one of the chats when we were talking about, homicide as we are wont to do on this channel, and said that one of her elderly coworkers said to her at one time that her ex-husband's entire line is gone. We were talking about wives killing husbands. And after the live, I was thinking to myself, so did she like kill all the sperm bearing family members, or did she kill everybody in the family? Did she like obliterate the name line or like the DNA line? That's a good one. Those are two perfect answers. His bloodline, his toilet. Perfect answers. I'm still thinking about the Pac ring spinning in the drawer in his house is crazy. Oh my god, burning a little groove into the wood at the mahogany at the bottom of the drawer. Yeah. Mm, mm, mm. Was that Miss Kofi? Thank you. Whoever it was, that left a lasting impression in my mind after the live. I was like, wow. My whole ex-husband family gone. What do you say to that when your elderly coworker is just like, "Oh, baby, I killed them all." Uh, okay, Miss Teresa, I hear you. All right now. Hello, beautiful. It's good to see you. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Not a battery pack explosion. Pharrell's jewelry. You think he tries to melt it and it just like won't melt? The whole he got it melted down thing. You think he's tried and it's just like impenetrable to any effort because, it's voodoo. Um, so he just like keeps trying more outlandish ways to melt down Pharrell's jewelry, and now he's gone subatomic missile. It still doesn't work. The cloud drifts away, and there's Pharrell's jewelry, still at the bottom of the blast pit, shining, glistening in the sunlight. Say, Drake. Mika Red says, I have a confession. I saved your video of the dismissal. When I'm having a shitty day, I watch your first reaction and it makes me feel better. Thank you. Oh my gosh. That means a lot to me because I have creators that I watch on social media that get me through bad points. So that touches me because I know that feeling because I have that experience with other people. So thank you very much. Groovier Tony, good to see you, beautiful. Oh boy, feeling some kind of way. I see. So Thug has nothing to fucking say about Drake thinking he should be in prison then. All right now. I just read the documents. I don't know. You're gonna have to ask Aubrey yourself. I don't know, but I suppose you could infer from his statement in this document that he thinks quite a few people should be in jail. He said, well, if they can make murder the case, then I guess your lyrics should take you to jail. He's a bitch, boy. That man's a bitch. I really got upset in that moment reading this document. No, you motherfucking didn't. I can't believe that shit. You snake ass motherfucker. You two-faced little bitch boy. Ooh, that makes me mad. Ooh, that makes me motherfucking mad. There we go. Tasha Awesome, did you just get here beautiful? I'm not going to exhaust myself on this comment because we just went through hours of what it was that they actually said. And if you want to know, they have a completely different interpretation of the lyrics. How about that? You're wondering, what is it? You're going to run it back and find out. I'm done reading the document. My glass is gone. We after dark. Shifting of fate. I had Abs yelling, Kayla, she needs to format the document. Bookmark. Oh, that was a crash out moment for me. Oh gosh, that was a crash out moment for me. That woman drove me fucking crazy. You should have been swallowed. No fucking honor, no fucking integrity, blah 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 blah. The lyrics are contested for Taylor Made Freestyle, and it wasn't even his voice. Like oh god, I can't even speak. I'm so fucking befuddled. Oh god. Gasted Flabbers gasted. Okay. He said the lyrics to Taylor Made Freestyle are contested. And then what did he say? I swear to God, I just blacked out. Oh, yeah. And it wasn't even his voice. I hate this man. You mean to tell me Junkyard Dog isn't an actual dog? Rhonda. Rhonda? I want to throttle him for this. I want to throttle him for this. It wasn't even his voice. Motherfucker, Tupac is dead. Fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. This man is so decrepit. This man is so decrepit that he would passively suggest to the court that another artist said it. You shitty, slimy little bastard. Oh, sorry. sorry. Okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm fine. It's fine. No, I'm fine. It's okay. I'm all right. I just like to remind y'all I haven't had dinner and I got no liquor in this house. Okay? He's dumb, but he's not slow. It's so two-faced, snakish, sneaky, shitty. I'm just disgusted. I really am. Snaky, sneaky, shitty shit. Sorry. So I have feelings too. I really do need that a dazed, plushy or pillow or something. I might have to figure something out. Jesus Christ. You ain't motherfucking right. I bet if you punch Aubrey in the stomach, it sounds like bubble wrap. You are. Thank you for that. Hit him again. Baby, we already been through that story. Yes, he does have body pillows on Amazon. So you've seen the Baby Keem article. Were you in the chat earlier? I don't remember seeing you. I'm also a little loopy, so if I could have spoken to you in the earlier chat. Well, goddamn, I guess we're back to After Dark chat. Auntie's being propositioned like a plushie, of course. Okay, good. It's good to see you. Bubble wrap and a fart. That's what him and Joey sound like together. Joey Bear Barrel. Yeah, that's what they sound like together. Popping bubble wrap and farts. Hello, beautiful. Oh, we sure did. We got a fleshly communication. I don't think I have that boom, boom, boom in here anymore. Ain't that sad? Oh, that's so sad. I got rid of that one. Oh, well. Get you some merch. We did. We made it back around. I can't help it. Excuse me. That's it. Armpit fart noises we thought were hilarious when we were kids. Oh, you nasty ass boys. My God. Mm, mm, mm. Well, it's late. It's late, chat. I don't know how long we've been here, but it's been a long time. Okay. Um, we're gonna have a live tomorrow, which is today for some of you, on Saturday. Okay. We're gonna have a live because we're gonna have to gather again after we've had a little bit of time with this. I'm gonna need to talk about it again. So anticipate that there will be a live sometime tomorrow. Jesus Christ, it feels a lot longer than that. It feels like a lot longer than that. It feels like we've been here like 5 hours. I think over 5 hours is the longest live that we had. But then again, I'm not batting 1,000. Is that what it is? I'm not all there. So I'm doing my best, Tom. I'm doing my best, and I appreciate you all for your grace, your humor, your wit, your patience, your persistence. Shout out to Dallas Salads, I believe it was, who was like, "Bitch, I said he dropped a filing." Stood their ground and was like, "No, absolutely, you don't know what you're talking about." Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate Alex for being the backup and being like, "Oh, no, let me hype, man. There's a filing." Um, and I'm glad. I'm glad that I was live when it happened. I'm glad that we were all able to gather in this Friday evening and read it together. And we will certainly talk about more of this and other things tomorrow. But I hope that you have a wonderful night. Shout out to the Mod Squad. You've been holding it down. I came back yesterday, I think. We've been together quite a bit just in that amount of time. So shout out to the Mod Squad for holding it down, keeping the links in rotation, keeping folks getting the likes up. If you didn't hit the like button on your way in, hit it on the way out. It's a wonderful way to support the channel. I appreciate you all very, very much. I'm gonna replay gang this and be aghast and cackle and and shake my head, standing with my hand on my hip with my little bonnet on, like mm, mm, mm. That boy just a gash of a man. I said what I said. See y'all very soon. Have a good night. Peace.